Okay, so we are on page Kufam 12, in the second section. And we were introduced to a phenomenal inyan. The inyan that oil is me'ein hamoir, which means the moir is the luminary. Oil is that which emanates from it. So one would think that which emanates from it is something which has been created by the luminary, a completely different level, different elk. So we say this is unique in oil, in contrast to shefa, as we already discussed, and we'll discuss further. The oil is produced not as oil per se. Oil is the moir in oil form. What difference does it make in terms of what we're trying to understand when we say oil is the moir in oil form, or we say oil is a product of the moir? The differences, and here is where we need to. We can only understand it with our thought, with a certain reality within ourselves. We cannot understand it by laying it out in words. The moir is a unique presence, and in our physical world we lose sight of it, because we have come to be accustomed to thinking of the moir as fire. The same as any fire. But this fire let me see if I can get us to think a little bit differently of a moir, of the sun, for example. The definition of fire to us is that it consumes anything that touches it. It burns it up. The definition of sun is that it illuminates. It brings a different reality to the world. It says, contrary to your thought that world is dark, world is not dark at all. What's the difference? What then is it? It's bright. What's the difference? Dark means that world has no message, nothing to tell you. World is that which you can feel with your touch, that's world. There is no message outside of that. Comes along the sun and tells you, excuse me, wrong. I will show you the richness that's contained in this world, which you can only identify with my services, with light, with brightness. So it brightens up the world. It gives a new definition to world. How does the sun accomplish this? Like we should focus in and understand. How does the sun accomplish it? Why could not a flashlight accomplish the same thing? Or a fire for that matter? The sun accomplishes it by declaring itself, you know, look at me, I'm part of the world. I was created to be into the world. And yet, what is my function in the world? To brighten up the world. In other words, I'm not an external visitor, a foreign object. I am really part of your world. And I'm telling you, your world is not all dark. Your world is really really has tremendous brightness in it. And I was put into this world to show it to you, to reveal it to you. This is sun. And the reason that sun can make this kind of a statement is that its whole essence is brightness. Think about this for a moment. Again, our thoughts have been contaminated with all kinds of different worldly views, but for a moment, think of it the way the REBBE wants you to think, the way the Torah thinks of it. The sun can burn for thousands of years and not diminish an iota. Is that within the parameters of the world, of a worldly fire? Doesn't fit. It's a divine addition, presence in the world, stating, you are not dark, you are bright. And I'm the one who was created to show it to you and to reveal to you the brightness that is contained within you. This is Mo'ir. This is sun. Sun is not merely a functional light. It is the Behiri, it is an essence of light. Behiri is bright. It is bright in essence, which is contrary to what world is, which is choshech in us. Now, the oir, the light that emanates from the sun, that ultimately reaches the earth and illuminates the earth. What is of its, what quality does that represent? And this is the great statement that Rebbe is making. That the oil is me'ein ha'moir. Even as the sun, as we said, by its essence, is coming to contradict the darkness of world. It's coming to tell you, no, mistake, no, not true. There's an essential inner of brightness in the world. The oil of the sun is representing that brightness. Oil mein hamoyer. On what basis are you saying that oil represents that brightness? We are saying this on the basis that when the sun rises and comes out, the sun does not have to perform any kind of act to produce this light and make the light spread out. Its very presence results in the oil. How does that happen? Because the oil is representative of the presence of the sun itself. The oil is not a separate thing. This is what oil me'ayin hamoyer. The statement of oil is an identical statement of the sun itself. Which we already discussed. The oil is only a ha'ara of the sun, but this ha'ara is me'ayin hamoyer. What does the ha'ara bring or represent? What does the ha'ara allude to? It alludes to the essential truth of what the moyer is. This is why the ha'ara comes without any additional step on the part of the moyer, or without any translation, without any effort, any intent. The oil represents the presence of the moyer, nothing more.
Was just said that when the sun comes, it doesn't have to do any action. And what do we say that it produces oil? That's we say is that like not doing anything? I understand this, but
yeah. So what's wrong with that?
But,
if you understand it, so what does it do? How does it do it? How does it happen, derech mamela?
That the ark comes out of it.
When it comes out, it is it. Its presence is the oil. That's what oil me'ayin hamoyer. The statement of the oil is the statement of the moyer. As we discussed just now, to some degree of detail, of insight.
There's no real way to think about it in our terms, because we're talking about an illuminator that's not a fire. By us, every illumination is a process. Here we're saying pure illumination. No combustion, no method.
And?
So it's not something that's part of our, like we said, it's not part of the world, not part of our regular thinking, yet it says I'm in the world.
Excuse me. Is the world make sense to you?
No, not at all, and that's why it's in the same way that physicality is here, made every moment. So I guess.
So what's wrong with it? Yes, indeed. World is a divine miracle, divine presence, and it is there because there's a divine will continued for it to be. As we pointed out many times, and then There's koiches in the world, in the physical world, in the earth, that don't get exhausted no matter how long it goes on. Like the koich hatzemeach. Yes, we do not have a means to understand the Mebash's creation with a worldly approach.
And in a certain way, he obscures it from us.
No. It doesn't obscure it from us.
Well, just meaning that in the regular thinking, there's no perpetual motion. Things have their limit. But at the same time, and he makes it that way, at the same time he says, but listen, it's not just worldly.
He's not obscuring it. He's revealing it to you.
We did say day one he hid that light. So
he hid that light in order not to disturb the worldly reality.
Okay.
But he's revealing it to you. He's not obscuring it.
Okay.
The shamash, the sun, is there for everyone to observe. And you want to interpret it whichever way you want. And if you would be wise to take that which is being shown to you, you will see the real sun. The same is true regarding the world in general, the sun, the moon, the stars. And this is the Mila. It says, Oyer has a special Mila. He gives you more than shefa. Shefa gives you a substantial substance from the mashpia. Oyer gives you the mashpia himself. Mein Amoy. The Shemesh is Behiri and the oil is Meir. Why is the oil Meir? Not because of its own composition, of its own makeup. It's Behiri, the oil is Meir because it is the Behirius of the sun that is oil. The brightness of the sun, this is what oil is. Now, as you pointed out, the thing that the sun is Behiri is a creation of such. It is not merely fire burning up. It is a creation of Behirius, of brightness. This brightness is a real creation of brightness. As we said, this is to represent the ocean you will be Rishon. It's a divine brightness. And the oil is made because the oil is representative of the Shemesh. Of what Shemesh is. Not what Shemesh creates, but what Shemesh is. B'lachein, for this reason, yesh hilukim b'oil. There are differences among different oils. כמו ירא השמש והבנו והנר. All of these are called oir. From the perspective that they're called oir, they should be identical. We'll still discuss this, but this is clearly the illusion over here. From the perspective of that their oir, they should all be equal.
They should. So
Identical.
this ulechen sounds like therefore, but it's actually not a therefore, it's however.
No, ולכן יש חילוקים באויר.
So it's more like however, there are distinctions. You might have thought it's all one.
No. ולכן means, since that the oir is me'en hamoir, it is reflective of what the moir is. This is why they're different oiris. Due to different oiris from which they represent.
The moon's not a luminary, but okay.
The moon is a luminary also, of a different kind than Shemesh.
We do say it does not give off its own light.
Makes a difference.
Fine.
But it's still a luminary in the world. Oir is mein hamoir. V'lochein, because the oir is mein hamoir, that's why yesh hilukim b'oir, that's why there are different oirs. K'mo Hashemesh v'Havana v'Haner. These are three different oirs. Why are they different oirs? Oir should be oir. Oir is oir. The answer is the lefi sheho atzmi michulokim. Because that the atzmiyim that these oirs represent are different. Al kain. Therefore, gam ha'ores einam dem zelozeh. The ha'ores that form the meaning from the oil, the brightness, the illumination, that these ma'atzmim affect, are different. Lefi shehen k'mayo etzem, because the ha'ores are like the etzem. Therefore, when the two atzmim are different, the oils will automatically also be different.
It's quite interesting that they're different atzmim.
Uh-huh.
Right? You may think there should just be one essence in this world.
Why?
Why? All comes from one.
Okay, yeah, but the one created many different atzmim.
But like or is to etzem, surely etzem is to the maker.
And I'm saying the oil does not the shemesh does not represent the maker of the shemesh.
Exactly. The light is like the sun itself.
Right.
So too you may think the essence is like its maker.
No. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
This is a creation.
Good. So what makes them atzmim? These creations. Why
are they called atzmim?
Mm-hmm.
Because the maker created them as atzmim.
Which means what?
Which means that, like we said before, the sun can burn indefinitely and will never burn up.
So it's something in world with an otherworldly or super world
exactly
quality, correct?
Right.
Okay.
He created it.
Like a human being, the sun.
That's what atzmi. So the atzim is something which we cannot understand in worldly terms at all. Because atzim is a divine contribution to the world.
I mean, ultimately, everything's a divine contribution to the world, but we're putting a bunch of things in a separate category.
No, yeah, what's the difference? Yeah, but it's a different kind. There is a divine contribution but on the worldly level, in the worldly terms.
Oh.
Fire is also divine, but fire is fire. It burns up. It has worldly limits. But sun does not have worldly parameters.
Okay.
Yet there's tremendous effort here on the part of the Rebbe to get us to recognize these principles, because it is important that we recognize them. Because it is via these principles that we recognize that the world is a real creation. In contrast to the way the world is being interpreted from a worldly approach. It was completely a meaningless presence. Precarious and vulnerable and meaningless. Yeah. Again, I'm stuck on these words on the second line from the top of the second section, towards the end. V'lochein ha'ir meir. This is why the oir is made, is because the oir is representative of the behirius of the Etz. The oir is made not because it hits an object and gets reflected. The oil brings the brightness of the essence to the world. It's a super worldly brightness that the oil brings. Because its essence is Behiri. This is very important to understand. Like you pointed out, these days, we spoke about it a lot, if oir were a deflection, were a production of a certain energy, and this energy would be hitting an object, and then it gets deflected from the object, and this deflection reaches our eye, and so forth and so on, and this is how we detect the object, then our vision of two objects, one next to the other, will be two separate visions. Just as if you get touched by a person on your right hand, and at the same time the same person touches your left hand, is this one touch or two touches? The two separate touches. And one interferes with the other. Okay, let's continue. We are on the fourth line from the top of the second section. The line begins, the Ha'oros are not equal because the Etzim are, from which they represent are different. We just go briefly into the next line. The Hagam, although, the reason I'm going in there is because if we go walk away this, we're going to start asking questions. But this is the same thing as in shefa. But he says, I'm aware of this. Although the shefa who gam kin lefi von hoetzem, although that shefa is also lefi von hoetzem, is also according to the manner of the etzem. If you learn seichel from one person, learn seichel from another person, the seichel is different. And yet the seichel is not a halacha, it's not main, it's a product of seichel. So seichel is also lefi eifon ho'etzem, is also in the manner of the etzem. So let me stop here and explain the word lefi eifon ho'etzem because we're not going to be able to make it too far. I want to point out the following. A person, let's say you have a person who speaks very fast. And then a person who runs very fast. So the person who speaks fast, you will immediately say, oh, he must be thinking very quickly. That's why he speaks fast. Will you say that he runs fast because he thinks rapidly? So two different worlds. Two different worlds, unrelated. When a person runs, it's reflective of the emotional, but it's not a direct ability.